Oh, I think you should get started because the class is recorded and the replay will be shared. Yes.
All right, that's fine. All right, good morning, everyone. So who is online? Let me see. Can you let me know where you're joining in from and also the product you manufacture? Let me have an idea of who is online. What do you produce? Where are you joining in from? I can see Sandra, I can see Jesu Tofumi, Gemdili. Can you let me know where you're joining in from and what you produce? Okay, Fumi says, from Ibadan, I'm a beaded wire work jewelry accessory maker. Okay. Sandra is joining in from Lagos. I produce liquid soap. Fantastic. All right, so we can keep the introductions coming in. Let me quickly share my screen and get started with the session today. Let me know when you can see my screen. Oh, please enable me to share my screen.
Okay, doing that now, making you co-host. All right.
Okay, let me try again. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, thanks. All right, so today we'll be learning how we can combat inflation with the right pricing strategy. Okay, so what strategies can we use as manufacturers to be able to combat inflation and also the current exchange rate? We all know that the exchange rate now is crazy and is affecting everything we do as manufacturers. So how do we navigate through these waters and how do we actually run a profitable business? She has already introduced me, but just like, let me do a summary. I manufacture, like you, I manufacture hair products for Africans. So Africans means like Africans in Nigeria, in Sierra Leone, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Senegal, wherever they are, right? So I manufacture hair products for Africans, ladies and kids. And during the course of actually building my own manufacturing business, I learned a lot of things that I now share with manufacturers. So that's why I founded the Manufacturers Hub, to be able to help manufacturers learn things that they can implement, like teach them things they can implement in their business in order to build, one, a profitable business, and second, a profitable business. Because you might be running your business, but it might not be very profitable, or you are running it, but you're not running it in a way that is actually sustainable over a long period of time. Then, my background, I have business education from EDC. This is Enterprise Development Center. From SIPS is Shine International Business School, and also she works here, All Women Accelerator Program. I did that a couple of years ago. So, but aside from business education I've gotten over these years, I've also practiced what I also learned, and I am able to overcome some challenges that now like position me in a way that I'm able to help others. So it's not just about the business education, but the experience I've gathered over the years of running my manufacturing business. So I started Markup Organics in 2015, will be 7 this year. All right, just to give you a bit of background on me, so you know who is speaking to you and why I'm in a good position to actually walk you through this. Okay, so what is inflation? What is inflation? Because how we can combat against inflation. What is it, right? So inflation is the rate of increase in prices over a given period of time. So if we notice that, is there anyone outside Nigeria here? Let me know that I'm using dollars. I think so far people that have joined us within Nigeria, but let me just use the global let's use dollar, right? Anybody watching the replay that is not in Africa, that is not in Nigeria, so we have to like just convert in their own rate. So what dollar could buy last year, like $100 could buy last year, is lesser now to what that $100 last year can buy now. Do we agree? Like the value of our currency has depreciated. What particular amount will buy last year or would have gotten us last year is not the same with what you'll be able to buy if you take that same amount and you enter the market with it. Do we agree? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, if you agree with that we're actually in the period, like we are all facing this inflation. Are you experiencing it as well?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So the prices of things has skyrocketed. There is no, oh no, it's not our question, all those kind of things. No. It is real, something that we are all facing right now, right? So what is the effect of this inflation on manufacturers? What's the impact what are we feeling about this particular economic situation that we are in? One, it has led to high cost of production. High cost of production. And if it's just about the high cost of production, right, what we'll just do is like increase our prices, then we are all fine. But then that's just what inflation has caused. It's not just about the high cost of inflation, but that high cost of production, but that the consumers that will be buying your products have less buying power. I know if you understand, like even the high cost of production is there, but you can't just say, oh, let me just slam one price and then I'm still selling it, because those people that you're now selling it to also has reduced, like if the same thing you're facing is also what they're facing. So if maybe their salary is, let's say 80,000 naira or 100,000 naira, what they can now buy in the market with that same salary that they were using last year to buy more things is now reduced. So it now means that because they have less buying power, they are now very meticulous about what they're actually spending money on. You can see how we are now in the middle. One is high cost, the other one is now that we can't just increase prices anyhow because the consumers have less buying power. They are now very particular and meticulous about the things that they actually buy. So what do we do? So the strategies that we can use as manufacturers is what I want to share with you today. But before we go deep into the strategies that I have, that I want to share with you, I want us to look at a couple of things that you might not be doing very well or mistakes that you need to avoid. So now this period is not a time to just price your product based on guesswork, or you just say, oh, my competitor is selling $50. So because of it, let me just sell 45 or sell 55. Let me just, be somewhere close to what my competitors are selling without understanding your own numbers. Now is not a time to actually do any form of guesswork. It's not about numbers, knowing your numbers, right? Then the second thing or mistake that you need to like completely avoid this period is using markup in place of profit margin. I will share exactly like for you to understand the difference between markup and also the difference between markup and profit margin. So you can't use markup this period and you're saying, oh, I'm using my profit margin. No, it's not. So I'll show us exactly what the difference is. Then now is not also a time that you ignore your numbers. You just be like, I'm not good at mathematics. So because I'm not good at mathematics, I don't even want to bother my head calculating all those calculations. No, I don't want to do all the calculation. No, you cannot afford to ignore your numbers at this time. Okay? So let me now walk you through the difference between markup and profit margin. So profit margin is based on ratio of profit to sell price. So I would also show you a table that will describe that very well. While markup is the ratio of profit to cost price. So when you use your profit margin to do your calculation, you'll be able to know exactly the profit you make each time you sell. Each time you sell, what is the profit that you actually make? So it's when you use profit margin that you know that for sure. So this is a table that describes it. Let's say the cost of your product is $100, right? And then you're using markup of 50%, thinking it's your profit margin. Why you now do markup of 50%? 50% of $100 is what? 50% of $100 is what? If you're using markup. What is it? Let me know in the chat because I want to make sure that we are all together. 50% of $100. what's the margin there? Or what's the amount when you say 50% of $100?
$50.
Are we together?
$50.
Yeah. So if it's okay, let me exactly. So let's say you want to do 50%, and you say, okay, the cost of my production is $100. I want to get 50% profit, and you're using this markup, right? I say 50% is $50. You now add it together and say, oh, my selling price will be $100. What happens when you now sell at that $150 minus your cost price is 50, right? But remember that I said that your profit margin is on the selling price, not on the cost. Because it's, you know, when you're calculating your profit, you say, I sold the revenue I got within this period is, let's say, $1,000. You now say, my profit from this revenue is what? The sales that you make is XYZ, right? So if 50% now, like the usual way that most people will go about their cost calculation is $50, which is this. Is that your profit? So let's now look at it, because the profit is supposed to be on selling price. So is $50 the 50% of 150? Is $50 the 50% of this 150 that is your selling price? What is the 50% profit on this 150? Do you understand the logic? Like, your profit margin is on your selling price, which is the revenue you've gotten, right? So if you're using markup of 50%, that means you'll be selling it at 150. When you minus your cost price, which is $100, what you will get is $50. So the question now is $50 the 50% of this 150 that is the selling price? Is it?
Please, can you just start all over again? We don't really understand, what you are saying, please.
Okay, someone already answered no in the comment, but let me just take it again. I said, some people make the mistake of using markup, and they would assume that the markup that they've used is their profit margin, right? And earlier I said the formula of getting your profit margin is profit on your selling price. Like when you sell, that's when you can say, do you understand to this stage? Is when you sell that you now say the profit that I've made is XYZ. Is that part clear? Like if you sell $100 now, you can now say, okay, the profit I've made is $50 or is $100. It's when you sell that you now say, this is the profit I've made, right?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
So if you're doing your calculation and then on the, you're not saying I want to get 50% profit, but you're using markup, which is on the cost price. So 50% of $100 is $50, right? So you now say, okay, if $50 is my profit, let me add it to my cost price, and then I'm selling at 150. So when you now sell at that 150, which is your selling price, and you minus the cost of production, which is $100, what you're left here is the $50 that you've marked up on your cost price. But is that $50 actually 50% profit margin? So do you now understand? That $50 that you've added to your cost price, is that 50% profit margin? Is it 50%? Is it really 50% profit margin?
No, of course, no.
Exactly. So, but because so most times we don't know the difference between the markup and profit margin. We always just, I bought this amount, or the production is this amount, let me just sell 50% markup, and then you are selling it and you are assuming that that markup that you've added is your profit. That's not your profit. So let's now look at another, the second row there. You can see profit margin is 50%. If you go about the right way of calculating profit margin, what you really sell that product at is $200 and not $150. If you use the right one for calculating your profit margin, right? So that when you now sell, so the selling price is $200 minus $100, you can now see that your profit is $100, which is really 50% of what? The selling price. Do you understand? Like the 50% profit, to get 50% profit of this this particular example that I've given, what you're supposed to sell that product at is $200 and not $150, because 50% is this $100 here, $100 profit here. All right. Just the point that I'm trying to make you understand is that if you'll be marking up on your cost of production and assuming that that is your profit margin, that is not your profit margin, because the calculation for profit margin is an entirely different thing. Okay. So then the second thing that I want us to look at is to know your numbers. So if before now you've been saying, I don't love mathematics, I don't even want to be bothered with all this calculation, I just want to sell, make my profit. Now is not the time for you to say that anymore. Now it's time to roll up your sleeves and actually learn how to calculate your numbers. So the numbers that are important that you must know and understand how to calculate is: one, your production cost, your cost of production. Second, your profit margin. Then your cost of operations, how to calculate to know how much did I really spend in running this business within a particular time frame. Then also knowing what your net margin is, whether it's net loss or net profit. Okay. Then how do you now calculate your profit? So let's now talk about how to actually calculate your profit. So your net profit is what you can use to scale your business, right? The money that is left after you've done deducting all your expenses. So the two profit that you have to take note of is: one, your gross profit. And your gross profit is the profit after deducting the cost of production. So you sold this for $200, the cost of production is $100, your gross profit is $100. Then to get your net profit, you will now deduct your operation cost, which is your admin and selling expenses, and you'll be able to get your net margin. So this is the formula. You can screenshot this and look at it at your convenience. So gross profit is revenue minus cost of production, while your net margin is gross profit minus cost of operations, all the costs involved in running your business. Okay, so let's now look at it practically, because it's important that as we are talking about all of this, let's now look at the numbers in a spreadsheet format. So look at this table now, right? So you can see the cost of production here is 50% of the revenue that is generated, maybe within a period of 1 month. Let's use 1 month. The gross profit, which I said is revenue minus cost of production, is still 50% of this revenue, which is $3,500, right? Then all these listed here are the running expenses, both marketing, rent, salary, depreciation costs, distribution costs, data, utility, all these expenses. The total percentage of all these expenses in a month for this particular manufacturer is 62%, right? So for you to now get what your net is, what you now do is you would minus your gross from your total expenses. You now get exactly your profit losses. In this case, the person was running at a loss. This person was running at a loss. Okay, so what can this person do in order to make sure that she is no longer running at a loss? Currently now, you might not be making the type of profit that you want to make in your business, or when you calculated yours, you notice that the profit that you're making is actually very small, or that you're not even making any profit at all due to the high cost of production. So one strategy that you can use is to cut your supply chain. So by cutting your supply chain, I will show you also exactly what I mean, like show you different tables to look at how you can reduce your supply chain. Okay, so one way that you can cut your supply chain is see if you can buy directly from the producers of your raw material. So instead of going online and you're buying from retailers, people who are reselling the raw material in small quantities, can you buy from the people who are actually selling it in a bigger volume? That way you're able to negotiate better and you're able to get reduced cost of those raw materials. Okay. Then another thing you can do is to cut your distribution chain. So let me now show us a pictorial view of it so that it's clear. So this is supply chain now. I believe we know what supply chain is. Please let me know in the comment section. We know what supply chain is, right? I'm looking at the comments. We understand what supply chain is, right? Can we see the image on my screen? Okay, all right. So your supply chain starts from how you get your raw materials, right? To your factory, then how you now distribute your finished products to get to the end user. So the first thing you can do is buy direct from the raw material source. So here now on this table, you can see consumer. So we're actually the consumers in this instance, not the producer, because you're buying raw materials to use in your factory. So the number 3 here is what I advise us to do as much as we can, to buy raw materials from the source. So if, for instance, you're producing and you need coconut oil, can you look for the woman that actually produces that coconut oil? Instead of buying it in small quantities, can you go to the states where they are producing it, or the village where they're producing it, and actually buy direct from that woman? Can you buy shea butter from the direct source? What other raw materials? Can you let me know the raw materials we use so that we can drive home that point, if you really understand what I am saying? So instead of just googling coconut oil in on IG, and then you're buying small quantity at a very increased price, because those people that you're buying from, so look at the other chain here, you can see there are people that are buying from the producers. There are even retailers that are buying from wholesalers that have bought from producer. So, but if you're able to go direct to the raw material producer themselves, you'll be able to get it at a cheaper price. And remember that if you're able to get at a cheaper price, what will happen? Your cost of production will go down and your profit margin will increase. You can see now at this particular table, because the cost of production reduced and the person was able to get more profit, you can see that the net profit is now on positive, meaning that this person now has more profit, right? Then another thing you can do, aside from buying direct from the raw material source, is cutting your distribution chain. So if before now you have a mega distributor, you have wholesaler, you have retailer, and you have what else again? Distributor, wholesaler, retailer, consumer, agents, brokers, and all of that. And all of those people, you know that the more chain of your distribution is, the more discount you're giving out. Not the discount you give a retailer that you would give a major distributor. So can you reduce that distribution share maybe to somewhere in the middle? Maybe you have a distributor that is now distributing to retailers, and then the retailers will now sell to consumers. Can you also look at a way or a means where you can sell to consumers as well, so that you're reducing the discounts that you're giving out to retailers? So you can run what we call a dual distribution model, where you're selling to consumers and you're also selling to retailers or wholesalers, as the case may be. That way, you're not giving out you're not giving out a lot of discount to major distributors. That will be able to balance out your cost structure in a way that you're not losing so much money. This does not apply to everybody, because there are people that you cannot sell to consumers. Like your kind of products, like probably if you're in the food industry, you're selling spices, you can sell to end users, but it's not as maybe someone in cosmetics that can just sell directly to the end users. There are kind of products that they need to buy on the streets, like they can't order it directly from you. So depending on the type of business you're running, you'll be able to pick the strategy that will work for you at this particular time. So let me know, how do we currently sell? How is our distribution chain currently? Are you selling directly to your consumers? Do you sell to retailers who sell to consumers? Or do you sell to distributors who sell to wholesalers and they sell to retailers that don't sell to consumers? What is your current distribution chain like? Let me know. Is there a part of the chain that you can, reduce in order, because if you have distributors, for instance, like major distributors, you might give up to like maybe 30%, 40% discount. Meanwhile, if you're selling to the retailer directly, you might just give like 20% or 15% as the case may be, or 25%, depending on the industry you're operating on. So how is our current supply chain and distribution like? Okay, Rolly says I'm selling directly. The retailers were asking for too much discounts, you know, pay me. Okay. All right, so this is also one of the strategies. You can analyze your current distribution chain and look at how you can sell more to consumers. And then if you have to sell to a middle person, you might just sell to 2 middle people. So you can sell to distributors that will sell to retailers and then to consumer, because the longer the chain is, the more profit you're giving out. The longer your distribution chain, the more profit you're giving out. But like I said, it might not apply to all businesses. All right. Then the second thing you can do is selling more products. So when you're able to move more volumes, your cost of operations will reduce. So if you're spending, okay, let me show you a table to show you, to describe that. So if your cost of production is 50%, your profit margin is still 50%, right? But your revenue, instead of $7,000, has increased to $14,000. You can see now that this person now has more profit because the cost of running that business will now drop. So the more volume you sell, the more products you sell, the lesser your cost of running the business in terms of percentage, then the more net profit you have at the end of the day, because your cost is now reduced. Do you understand this part? Like the logic of selling more products in order to reduce our operation cost. Is it clear? Selling more products in order to reduce our operation cost. Still get to, because you know, the first reaction when there is increase in raw materials, like I want to increase my price, it's not paying me again, right? But if you look at now, I've not talked about price increase because there are some things that you can do. We've talked about 2 of them now. There are some things that you can do first, right? Before you jump to the increasing of price, because those people you're increasing price for, they're also struggling to buy some certain things. So can we look at all of these things first? Then in the worst case where you cannot, like you've done everything and you notice that you're still not running a profitable business, we can now talk about price increase. So we'll get to that. So the third thing you can do is to give less credit. So if before now you've been giving credits anyhow, if this distributor asks you for credit to give her, if another distributor asks you for credit to give her, know that the credit that you've given, so let me now be practical about it. Let's say, for instance, you give someone product worth 500,000, right? I'm talking about Naira now. You give someone product worth 500,000 and they don't pay you till maybe like 3 months time. When they pay you that 500,000 in this current state of the economy, does it have the same value? The 500,000 that someone would have paid you in, let's say January, the person now paid you in April. Okay, let me even use, we're in August. 500,000 that someone would have paid you in August now, the person now paid you in November. Is it the same value?
No.
Will it be the same value?
No.
Exactly, it's not. It's not, because even when you now go to buy raw materials with that amount, it's not the same quantity of raw materials that you would have gotten then that you'll be able to get. So as much as possible, reduce the way you give your distributors or your partners credit. If you must give credit, let it have a time, maybe like 2 weeks. Once they sell, they're giving you back the cash flows, that you're not allowing a lot of cash to be outside for a long period of time. Okay, then the fourth strategy you can try out is buying your materials locally. So you need to analyze to see, are there materials that currently you're importing? Because even the exchange rates now, like the cost of buying raw materials outside Nigeria, outside your country, wherever you are, is now very ridiculous, right? So can you buy some certain raw materials locally? Can you look at the current raw materials you use and see ones that you can actually buy from where you are? What this will do for you is, one, there'll be reduced product cost, and there will also be less logistics cost. So the cost of transporting it from within your state or within your country is of course cheaper than when you're ordering it from outside your country, and it's also less risk. Then the fifth point is, or strategy, is giving discounts sparingly. So now is not a time for, oh, I'm not selling, and you just say 50% slash promo or off all products in store. This is not a time to just wake up and give discounts anyhow without doing your calculations, because what happens, any discount you're giving in is actually eating on your net profit. So if you're supposed to make XYZ net profit, once you give out that discount, it has reduced that profit that you would have made. Okay, so let's give less discount and lean more to communicating the value of your product so that the people who can afford your product, I'll talk more on that later, people who can afford your product can actually buy them and not buy just based on the discounts that you're giving them. All right. Then another thing or strategy is for you not to overemploy. A lot of times we employ more people than we actually need. And how you can tell if you've overemployed is by analyzing the current workforce you have. So look at everybody working for you currently. Do they all have a JD? Do you clearly define what each person's roles is, their job description? What is it, right? So one step is to clearly define what each person's JD is, and then analyze to see if you actually have more people than you need or you have less people, because it can also be vice versa, right? Then you also look at how many staff do I really need in order to meet my business goals and my targets. So if, for instance, what you're working towards is, let me use Naira now, is to generate, let's say 10 million Naira, right? Then you now have 10 sales people on your team. So what you're saying in essence is that one person should just generate 1 million. Meanwhile, one person would have generated 2 million as in during the course of 1 month. But it all depends on the type of product you sell, the price point, and you need to analyze to see how much can one person actually generate, right? So if you've analyzed to see, I don't even actually need 10 people. You might analyze to say, I need just 5 people. You can now decide to maybe evaluate and see if you can let some staff go, or if they are all very fantastic, they are all good staff, you can now start looking at, instead of saying that our goal is 10 million, can we increase that goal to, let's say, 15 million or 20 million as the case may be, knowing that you have enough competent staff to actually drive that revenue growth. Okay, so it all starts from analyzing to know what your business goals are, what your business target is, and then you now evaluate to see the number of people that you need. Then this is about sales now. Then coming to the factory space where you have people manufacturing for you. Can you look at how many products do I actually want these people to produce in a week or in a day? And then look at how many people do you have? Have you overemployed? Probably have 30 people. Meanwhile, what they're producing is something that 10 people can produce. So we can analyze our current workforce and see if we are spending money more than we are supposed to spend, or if the money we're spending is more than we're supposed to spend to generate a particular revenue. So what is the percentage of your salary to revenue? You have to look at that and tell yourself the truth as regards to whether you've overemployed. And it can also be, like I said, vice versa, that you've underemployed and you're struggling to meet a particular revenue target. Meanwhile, the number of people you have will not be able to meet that revenue target. So you can analyze to see what you can do about that. Another strategy you can look at is, if your current pack size is big, because of it, your product price is, is in a way that it actually matches the pack size. But now, knowing that people's buying power has reduced, can you look at offering a smaller pack size? So a lot of companies currently do that. I'm sure that the milk or Vita or drinks that you buy, if you look at the old pack size, as in the weight, net weight that is on the pack, most times it's not the same with what it was 2 years ago, right? They've reduced the pack size because they don't want to just add money on their product. So they now reduce the size and still offer it at the same price or slightly increased price. So you can look at the kind of product I offer. Can I do a smaller pack size that would help me to still be profitable or run a profitable business? Then when you've tried all these things, okay, someone wants to say something. Efese, you can go ahead. Or should we wait to the end of the session? Nkechi, what do you think? I think Efese wants to say something. Should we wait till the presentation and then we'll do Q&A?
Please, let's get to the end. Then we take Q&A. Then please drop your questions in the chat, and I'll make sure that she does not miss it.
Okay, all right. So if you've done all of these, like still recap so that if you missed any part, you can still get that. You've done all of that, and you now notice that, see, there is nothing else that I can do. Like the cost of my production is crazy. I'm not making it. At this rate, I'm going to run, and like I'll just run out of business, right? So then it means that you have to increase your prices. There is no other thing you can do than increase your prices. But before you do your increase in prices, of course, like I said, first, you want to calculate your production cost. Then you want to also determine the profit margin that will enable you to be profitable. Then fix your new selling price and communicate that change in price with your people. By your people, I mean your audience, your target customer, your existing customers. But it doesn't stop at that. You can't just say we have increased our prices and then you let people like buy if they want to buy. No. You now have more work to do to communicate the value of your product, the value of your brand. You now have more work to do to position your brand and message in a way that you're attracting people who can actually afford to buy product. Because the truth is that with increase of price, there are people who used to buy your product, but they just can't afford it. No matter how products are, they can't just afford it, right? So knowing that there will be a drop in, there might be, it's not like a must that there must be, but there might be a drop in that can afford your product based on your current audience. You now need to consistently continue promoting your brand and product and reach more people on a daily basis. It's not that a question of let me sit back till the customer comes, or let me sit back till somebody discovers of my brand, or let me sit back till somebody refers someone to buy from me. No, you have to roll your sleeves and get to work, which is marketing. You need to market every working day, whether you or people on your team, so that you're reaching more people. And in the pool of those new people you're reaching, you'll now be able to attract the right people that can actually now afford your products. So you can attract more people that can actually afford your products. A moment. So you can now be able to attract more people that can now afford your product. So the communicating of the price, your new price, is not done in a way that you just post it and then you sit back and waiting for people to buy. No, it's now time for you to reposition. You can look at your product to say, the way my product is currently packaged, would it be able to attract the kind of people that will now afford this new price or not? Then you can look at how you can reposition both your brand and the product itself in order to attract people who can afford your products. I think someone is talking. Okay, I sent you a message. Who can actually afford to buy these products? Okay, so let's look at the strategies that we've shared. So the strategies we've shared is one, look at your current supply chain, how long it is. In the part of your suppliers, can you buy more from the direct source? Can you buy more from the direct source, people who are actually farmers or people who are actually importers, direct importers of your raw materials, right? Should you buy more from those people instead of buying retail from retail? So this have repackaged the raw materials in a way that is now more expensive. If you've been printing from middle people, like for instance, you print your labels from people who actually are like middle people printing company, can you now go direct to the printing company so that you're able to get your labels cheaper? Your labels cheaper, right? Then buying materials in bulk. If you've been raw materials in small quantities? Can you save up money and buy these raw materials? And when you're able to buy it in bulk, what will happen? You'll be able to negotiate better. You'll be able to negotiate better, and you're able to get very good prices. So if you're buying, let's say 1 liter, 2 liter, can you upgrade to buying maybe like 20 liters or more than that, depending on the cash flow that you have? You can plan yourself well. You plan your business well in a way that you'll be able to buy your raw materials in bulk. That's if you're buying raw materials that does not perish, right? Then another thing is selling more product, because the more products you sell, even though the profit margin is low, you will not be able to make more profit at the end of the month because you're selling, you're moving more volumes. Then reducing cost of operations. We looked at if you sell more, you'll be able to reduce your cost of operations. If you also reduce the number of people you employ, which is do not overemploy, right? You'll be able to increase your profits. Then you can also reduce your pack size or introduce a new pack size, give less credit, because the more credits you give or the more credits you give, when the money now comes in, right? When the money comes in, it is the same value as it should have been when you actually sold that product. Then discount sparingly. I said that your discount hits on your profit margin. So as much as possible, try to avoid giving discounts at this time. Instead, position your brand in a way that people see the value of your product and they want to buy from you. Then if you've tried all of this and you notice that you just can't cope with the increase in your cost of production, then it might be the right time for you to increase your product prices. Okay, so at this point, you might also be wondering things like, okay, I know I need to calculate my cost, but I get very frustrated. It gets very frustrating for me each time I want to calculate my cost. Like, I don't even know what cost should I calculate. Should I put my machine cost in my cost of production? Should I put the salary, rent, and other indirect costs in my cost of production? How exactly do I calculate my cost? What cost do I calculate in order to put my selling price or to fix my selling price? How do I determine the right profit margin for my business? Or how do I know the number of products to sell to be profitable? Because you now know that, okay, I need to even understand my numbers in a way that if I sell this volume of products, my business will be profitable. You're wondering how to really build a highly profitable business, or exchange in raw materials. How can you easily recalculate your cost of production without, starting from beginning to do all the calculation all of each time there is increase in raw materials? So if you would love a step-by-step process of pricing your product right in order to scale, She Included has something for you. So when they reached out to me, they said I should come teach their team how to actually navigate around inflation. And then if we have a course that they can actually study on their own in order to get by step of how to calculate their cost of production, how to price right, so that their people are actually profitable at this time. They don't want you to lose out. So they have something for you today. If you love this step-by-step process of pricing right to scale, please let me know in the comment section. We love a step-by-step process of pricing right in order to scale your manufacturing business and still run a profitable business even amidst this time. Would you love that? Okay, Jesutofumi says, yes, I do. Okay, who else would love that? Who else would love that? Okay, Sandra Shikodi, yes, I would love that. Okay, all right. So our pricing for growth and profit course will show you the step-by-step of actually how to understand your business cost, because you can cover within this 1 hour, right? So, but using this self-study course, you'll be able to, one, understand your business cost, then know how to calculate your cost of production, the actual cost that you need to calculate, then determine the right profit margin for your own industry, and you'll be able to fix the ideal selling price for your products. And you also understand what we call the break-even analysis. So at what point would you start running a profitable business? What's the number of products you need to sell in order to actually run a profitable business? And as a bonus for you today, you'll be getting access to my pricing template. So this pricing template is what you can use each time that there's increase in raw materials. So the only thing you need to do is to just come to the table. You'll see a video of how to do that when you get this self-study course. You just impute the current price of the product, and it will recalculate current price of the raw material, sorry, I mean to say, and it will recalculate to tell you what the unit cost is. And then you'll be able to get the exact cost of product at that particular time. So if you've been running away from mathematics or trying to write down your cost of production, calculating, and it's giving you headache, using this pricing template is an Excel format. You can duplicate your own copy and use it anytime you want. You'll be able to easily calculate your cost of production. It will be easy for you to impute the profit margin you want to get, and you will see the recommended selling price for your product. Okay, so the cost fee is just $50, which is $100. And Nkechi will be sharing a link for you to get that cost on the chat. Okay, so while she shares the link for you to get the course, I would love to take any questions you have, either on what I've shared today or based on the course as well. So how do you do Q&A? Would they type in the chat, or would they need to unmute themselves to speak?
If you have any question, please unmute or raise your hand or type it in the comment section, and I will. Okay, Pamela is raising her hand.
Good morning, Amara. Thank you so much for this very insightful lecture. And Nkechi, thank you for moderating. So this is my question.
What is going on?
There is noise on your background. Probably you can type in your question.
Can you still hear the noise?
Okay, it's better now. Go ahead.
Sir, thank you so much for the insightful lecture, Amara. So this is it. We have been able to do all of this, you have said, reducing distribution chain, buying from the exporters directly, and all of this. So presently now, where we are, there is a need for price increments, because virtually every single product we buy as our raw material, there's a price increment. But a recent, I had a chat with one of the major outlets that stock our products, in fact, the biggest, about the price increase. And what they said, or what the lady advised, was our buyer was like, okay, your product is doing very well now on the shelf. Why do you want to increase the price? If you increase the price, you might actually send your customers away to another product. We do spices, we deal on spices, and the profit margin is not so much, and you have other products too that more like there's a cap ceiling on an untold cap ceiling of the prices of spices across board.
Yeah.
And I'm more like, talk now, we need to add the, and that is the truth. Their volume is nice, and it really covers for their more like their turnover. But for, they presently have the least, we currently supply to them at the lowest price in respect to others we have. But because they do volume bulk, it covers for it. But now we need to add. And I don't really want to add for every other person and add for them. So what do you advise we do? Do we wait to a later date because of this?
Okay.
So all the time, okay, next purchase be an increase in price. But I don't know what to do now as regards these people.
Yeah. Okay. If you've tried everything that I shared, right, and you notice that it's just not really a profitable business, the next step for you to increase your price. But remember, like I said, that if you increase your price, right, there are people that would there is no two ways about it. There are really price conscious people, and sometimes it's not their fault because like they have less to spend, and then you know the price keeps going up. So they'll still be looking for the cheaper alternative. So there are people that will switch to other brands, but then there are still people that can actually afford. So in as much as some people don't have the money, there are still people within the society that actually still have the money to spend, right? So it's not about you repositioning your brand in a way that people who have money to spend or people who can afford your product would actually be able to like resonate with your brand, connect with your brand, and actually buy from you. So yes, they feel like the supermarket or the store feels like if you increase the price, people who have been buying might not buy. But then within those people that are buying, the people that will buy. And you can't increase price for others, like you said, and not increase for them. So what will happen is that you already build a relationship with them. You have to tell them like in a plain, straightforward way that you're no longer making profit on this. And this is why you have to increase the price at this time. Then also on your own end, actively start looking for other ways to push your product beyond just the stores pushing it, like other ways to create brand awareness, other ways to make sure that you're getting people to see your product on a daily basis. So that way, once you're getting a pool of people to see your product, your brand, and what you're selling, whether online or offline, you'll be able to get people within that pool of audience that can afford to buy your product at that new price. So there is no two ways about it. There are a lot of people increasing their prices in the market. You can also look at your competitors. What are they doing? Are they increasing their price? What other things are they doing? Are they reducing the size of their products? Or what exactly are they doing to remain afloat at this time? Because whatever thing you choose to do, you also still need to look at the competition so that you're being competitive in the marketplace.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, Pamela. Does anybody else have a question? Please raise your hand.
My name is Nkem.
Okay, Nkem, continue.
Okay, my name is Nkem Obiao. What's all this one? Okay, my name is Nkem Obiao. I produce sanitary towels, chlorine-free sanitary pads. I'm looking at this table, how to calculate your profit margin and how to calculate. So I'm not looking at the markup. I'm looking at what is the formula actually for calculating your profit margin?
Okay, so for formula for calculating your profit margin, it's not really something I can explain here because it involves a lot of steps. So if the pricing cost to be able to see like the step by step is in more tiny detail to actually calculate your profit margin. You can also decide to Google it. The formula is not a straightforward thing. Is something that you need to build. In fact, there are some people that don't like mathematics that will not be able to use that. So the template also has the formula built in a way that the only thing you need to do is to put in your, like for instance, you calculate your cost of production and it's 100 naira. What you just do is, I want to make 50% profit. You just put in 50 and then it will calculate and tell you what your selling price is. So the formula is not something that is just easy that I'll put out and say that's the formula.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, let me see the charts. Okay, is there any question for me in the charts? Someone was raising their hand earlier. I didn't get. Okay, Elizabeth. Have I heard from you or?
I'm sorry. Not.
Hi, Elizabeth. We can't hear you. Your line is breaking.
School fees, that's at the end of it.
Elizabeth, your line is breaking.
Hello?
We can't hear you.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay, her line is Her line is breaking and I can't hear her. So while we wait for more questions, I just want to let you know that thank you for being in this class, and to remind you that Shecluded is that community that you need, that network that you need to grow your business, that network that will support you in your business growth, in the impact that you want to make in your community. We have an online platform where you can connect with other business owners. We have several products to make your business journey and scaling easier. We have a product where you can transact with transact with businesses from across the world. Okay, for example, you have been requested to supply maybe shea butter to China, and they doubt your credibility. You can tell them about us. We have built that credibility over the years with lots of international affiliations. Tell them that we can serve as an escrow by holding the money for them, and when they receive their products, we pay them. I don't know if that makes sense. Then another thing is that we provide growth loans for businesses. So if you have a PO, a purchase order from a big retailer, and you don't have the capacity, you don't have the cash flow to fulfill them, you can come to Shecluded and we would give you the loan to process that purchase order and scale. So you need to purchase an equipment, whatever it is you need to do to grow your business. Shecluded is here for you. We also provide business advisory, wealth advisory, whatever it is you need. Shecluded is that bestie, that business bestie that you need on this journey of entrepreneurship. Just need someone to talk to. Call us. I'll put my email address in the comment section, and you can email me any questions or any help that you need. We have a robust network, and trust me, someone within the network has a solution to that problem that you have. So just send me that email. Then if you're not on, is everyone here in our Telegram group? If you're in a Telegram group, please can you say hello and let everyone know how you enjoy being in the Telegram group. So we have events like this, webinars like this that would support your growth. So if you're looking for a community, yes, hello, Nkemdelim, yes. So community. So that's the link to the Telegram group. If you're not already there, I suggest that you join. Okay, any more questions? In the absence of any more questions, I would like to say a big thank you to Amara for taking out time from our busy schedule to attend this class. We will be sending out email to everybody that registered but was not able to attend. I know it's morning and we are not yet used to attending webinars in the morning. So everyone that registered, lots of people registered but didn't come in. So we're going to send out the replay to everybody. Thank you so much again, Amara. I really appreciate it. Someone is asking.
Right.
All right.
It's a pleasure being here. So I believe that if you missed any part of the session, you can also watch the replay and you'll be able to gain more. And then write down everything that I've discussed. Actually look at your business, analyze to see if you're already doing that or if you need to implement some of the strategies that I've shared. And like I said, if you try everything and you still need that, you feel like you need to increase your prices, please do. But before you do that, make sure that you've actually calculated your cost of production. You know what your cost of production is. You've determined the your profit margin you want to give. Sorry, you want to add to your cost of production, and then you know what your selling price is. And if you don't know how to do that, courtesy of included. You can click on the link to actually get our pricing course so that you're actually doing it the right way. There's a lot in there for you in the self-study course. When you click the link, you'll be able to read the course curriculum and make your decision to get the course. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed speaking to everyone.
Thank you, Amara. Have a lovely day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.